acupuncturist and herbalist. I have been already practicing Chinese medicine for 26 years. And recently I noticed there are more and more people develop dementia, eye problems, and I keep thinking, how can we prevent this problem from happening at an early stage? If you are 90 years old, you got a stroke or you get a macular degeneration, then you have less time to suffer. But if you are early 40s, you really have to optimize your brain and your eye function. And one of the things which I think is very important is optimize your blood pressure. In China, when I was a resident working in Department of Neurology, I was told after people pass certain age, the blood pressure should be calculated with the age. So it's not everybody has to be below 120. For instance, my mother is 83, and for her, the optimized blood pressure may be between 140 to 160. But here, the physician always tell you, or if you have blood pressure 140, it's too high. But recently, my mother was admitted into the hospital because of the stroke in her left frontal area. Well, she had a stroke and they gave the IV, and I was monitoring her blood pressure, and I find the blood pressure sometimes shoots up to 180. So over 90 or 100 diastolic. So I talked to the neurologist in Beth Israel. I said, are you worried about this blood pressure is too high? And guess what? He said, when people have like a blockage in their brain, a little bit higher blood pressure, as long as it's below 180, we are not giving the medication. So that verifies our thinking that the blood pressure shouldn't be too low. Thinking about if when you are sleeping, your blood circulation becomes so slow and your blood pressure drops to 100 or 70, and then your brain cell will have not sufficient blood flow. And plus your eye, your retina cannot have sufficient blood flow. And if that happens every night, then the brain cells will gradually die. And that happens to my mother. She is the world's healthiest eater. But over years, she developed dementia. And I just keep thinking, what caused this dementia? And so finally I realized that I was looking at her blood pressure history the past couple months in nursing home. And I find sometimes it dropped below 100, sometimes it's even dropped below 80. And at that time, she looks lethargic, she's sleepy, and you can imagine your blood flow to your brain and your retina will be diminished dramatically. And that's why a few weeks ago, after a big meal, she went to bed early and she didn't get up in the morning. And that's how this big stroke in the frontal area changed her whole cognitive function. So in order to have a healthy brain and healthy eye, you need to optimize your blood pressure. If you are taking blood pressure medication, and try to monitor morning, afternoon, and evening, it shouldn't be dropped too low. The other thing is, if you do have low blood pressure sometimes, try to drink sufficient water with some tea. I think tea with all the minerals can help to maintain the blood pressure within certain range. And that's why the tea drinker, I follow up many 90 years old, they have a sharp brain, their memory is still good. My mother eats healthy, but my mother never drinks tea. And so that's why her blood pressure go up and down so much. And over years, there are many small blood vessels are blocked. But she never had like a paralysis or speech problem. It's just the brain cell gradually dying. And it influences her memory, the cognitive function. So let's optimize our blood pressure with water, tea, fruit, and the small dosage of medication if you have to take it.